Okay, we are live streaming, even though we haven't officially. I'm going to turn on recording. Will you guys give me the green light? Get rolling. Mary, you're all right. If you happen to see that screen go dark, just touch it and keep it on. I don't know how it acts. If that goes to sleep, might have to refire it up.
Ready, man. Is everybody ready?
Okay, ready.
Ready?
Yes.
All right, welcome everybody. We'll call to order the township meeting at 7:32. Please stand for the pledge of the flag and a short devotion. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, we ask that you guide our decisions tonight to best benefit the residents of Osnaburg Township. We ask that you be with our staff and employees as they go out on fire and EMS and road calls and keep them safe. And please send some dry weather. Amen.
Amen.
Mary. This sheet.
Okay, do we have any additions for the agenda?
Yeah, it's fine.
I've got one on, for the Wildwood Cemetery. Under the cemetery.
Is that old business or cemetery? Okay.
I just put under-
Yeah.
I'd like to add, Trustee Varian, I'd like to add an executive session, apologize, for personal matters. This refers to the appointment, employment, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official.
You want to do it right now?
I want to do it after road report.
Okay, don't read it yet.
Okay.
Do you want to do it before zoning?
Yep.
That's when you'll make your motion.
Perfect. Thank you.
So it's before zoning?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a possibility of action being taken after?
Yes.
Okay. Brenda, you have anything?
No.
Brian?
No.
Okay.
All right, we'll move on to the trustee meeting minutes from 6/28/2021.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Trustee Varian, second.
All those in favor, aye. Aye, opposed? While we're signing that, next we'll move to the treasurer's report from 7/12/2021.
Trustee Varian moves to accept the treasurer's report as presented.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Move on to public speaks. First on the list is Greg and Jeanette Morris. One at a time, please, or if you both want to speak.
Ladies first.
If you could, just use the microphone, I'll pick them up.
Yeah,
wherever you want.
you can hear good,
We
right?
just need you to state your name and your address for the record.
Greg and Jeanette Morris, 7156 Claire Haven Street in East Canton. And in an effort to be good neighbors, the problem that we're coming here to you with has been ongoing for better than a year. So, we've kind of exhausted any other ideas but to come before you and maybe try to find some resolution. Our property, we're out of the country, and we shouldn't even, it seems foolish that we have to come to you about lighting on someone else's property. But there are the big LED lights, very, very bright. We can no longer enjoy our property because they're splashing over onto our property. From one neighbor on one side, and the other neighbors, the new neighbors on the other side. And so we're kind of caught in the middle, and we're actually the only property on the road that's caught by these lights. No one else is really affected. We own property across the street that's a rental. Our son lives there, and we have a cabin up in the woods for him and our grandson. And the light from one of their buildings, and that would be, do you want me to point?
Yeah.
Could you, that'd be great to tell us, kind of show us.
Can you zoom in a
You got- yeah, there you go.
Well, can't point no more. Can't, you're gonna have to back off, yeah. This building and this building are the ones with the big bright lights on the front. And they splash over into the woods here, all the way over to the woods here where we own. And we have a cabin up in here that it affects our private little cabin in the woods. The light on this building comes, believe it or not, all the way across here. Could you back this off a little bit, please? We have a bonfire here this is where we live. We have a bonfire area here. This light is actually so bright that it blinds us out here in this field where I walk the dogs and try to enjoy myself anytime after dark. We enjoy all of our property. We're not the kind of people that pulls the sidewalks in at dark. We're out after dark. I don't think they ever are, and they're putting these up for security. They're new. I think they're fearful.
Are they, go ahead.
These are big LED lights.
Do you think it's an issue that it's just the light's too big, or is it an angle issue? Like they were angled?
It's extremely bright. It's so bright that you'd have to actually come to our house and walk out onto our property, and then you could see for yourself that it's so bright that and we did talk to them about it. We did that first. And he said, well, he likes the security. And my husband told him, well, the security is good for you, but it doesn't stop at the end of your property. It's coming all over us.
Right.
Yeah.
Would-
And if you could put a shield over it, or if you could reduce the lights, that would be nice.
Would you say that these lights are security lights that are hung on the corner of their home, corner of their garage? Like, how are they
It's on the front
mounted?
of each barn. That I-
Okay,
One's on the front of this building,
okay,
and one's on the front of this building. This is their new house, and they splash all the way. They're like living next to the Dollar General.
Can you drag it down a little more, Mary?
gotcha. So these are lights mounted on
Yeah.
the
The front
structure.
of their building. One
So
of
there's
these
the house-
buildings
there's
is
the
brand
house.
new. The house is brand new.
Yeah, the house is up.
And the building, but they have lights all over the front of their house too, but they're normal lights. They're not
What's the
big.
building up above, at the top of the
Oh,
screen?
That's the house. That's the house. Those are the outbuildings.
Okay.
Okay, yeah,
That's
that's
the house.
perspective. That's their new house. And then this is one building and this is the other building, and I forgot they put this up too.
Gotcha.
They put up a lot of structures since they bought the property. So, the front of the house is lit up, but nothing that doesn't bother or affect us in any way, shape, or form. It's what's coming off of their barns, and it's.
So it's safe to say if you drove down Clearhaven at night and looked at that property on the street, because it's going all the way across the street to your property, it's gonna be bright in your eye when you're driving down the road.
If you're coming, because it's a dead end road, if you're coming in, and you'll have to kind of look back.
Okay,
When you turn around and come back, because our property's
Yeah.
beyond that,
got it.
then you're gonna see.
That's when you're
and
gonna
then-
see the bright, okay.
Yes, and then if you could back this up a little bit, please. A little bit. Wait. Over here,
You want me to zoom in a little?
right
bit?
here, is, they put up one also. So now that's coming across the entire front of our property, and it blinds you when you're coming in the road. It blinds you when you're coming out of our driveway. It's on a pole, right in front, right by the road.
Have you had a crime problem on that road?
No, that's what's mysterious. It's a dead-end road. We've never had any trouble out there. I've lived there all of my life. My parents before me, for over 70 years. There has never been problems out here. These people are new and they're fearful of, I guess, living out in the country. They feel very fearful or they wouldn't be doing this. And, you know, we don't want to be bad neighbors. We want to be good neighbors. That's why we approached them politely.
Mhm.
We waited a long time before we did that. We thought maybe they would get over this and maybe turn them out, but that hasn't happened. And approaching them didn't do any good. Did make a report to the sheriff department, and since there's no law, there's nothing out in the township.
Mhm.
If you lived in the village, there is, because it's not supposed to, your light is not supposed to be a nuisance on someone else's property in the village. But if you live in the township, there's nothing for the deputy to grab.
And these are these dusk to dawn, they're not motion?
Dusk to
Right.
dawn.
Okay,
correct.
so they're not coming on.
If they were
the dog runs
motion, I
by.
wouldn't be a big deal. But these are on all night, every night, no matter what.
So are they pointed like out, is what you're saying? They're pointed, so if the light's on, it's pointing that way, or whichever direction it is.
It's pointing everywhere.
So you can play volleyball in the front yard of that house all hours of the night, and it's that bright.
Yeah, have you been close enough to see what kind of light it is? Is it a spotlight looking thing or is it a whole
The
circle light?
LED, it's
I
an
just-
LED, so it's,
I
not a
just wondered if you
spotlight.
could point it down, if it points straight down, if that would do anything.
I don't know that, I don't pretend to know all about this, but I don't
Right,
think you can
right.
do that with an LED. It's just a blast everywhere.
I think the way the light is, the light hangs below
Okay.
the fixtures, so it goes 360
It's like,
everywhere.
it's like a mercury vapor, but LED.
It's
It's
brighter than the
LED.
mercury.
Right, but I mean, it's like the old mercury vapors where the bulb hangs down.
Yeah,
You know, we thought maybe initially when they put it up, if we could ask them to put a shield on it so that it's somewhat stays down on their property.
Right.
But I don't think you can even do that with an LED. We thought maybe if they put up a different kind of light that just flashed down, you can buy them that they're kind of cone shaped, that come down and just light up their area. But obviously he's not willing to do that and we don't want to have a big fight with him. If there was an ordinance that set in place for the deputy that I spoke to said he wouldn't like this either. If there was an ordinance for them to sink their teeth into where they could tell him, you know, you're crossing the lines of an ordinance, then we'd have something. But in the township, because prior to this, LEDs weren't really being used like this and no one was concerned.
Yeah, before you'd have to use a pretty powerful light to get across the street to your house.
That's a
Now-
lot of acreage.
yeah.
Well, how many feet,
328 yards to our campfire from the light, and you have to sit there like this around the campfire.
when I'm walking the dog at night,
That's a lot of
around
light.
the ponds and stuff, I can't see going, when I'm facing toward it, like coming around, looping around the ponds, I can't see.
Well,
So what we're-
It is ruined our peace and
mhm.
not quiet, but privacy. It's nuisance, what they consider nuisance lighting or light pollution.
and we like the stars at night too.
We like to enjoy our own property. We cannot.
And if you could have a resolution to where people's lighting stops on their property
Somehow.
and that doesn't invade the neighbors, that would eliminate all problems. And not only for now, but in the future too.
I might add that when the leaves come off the trees, it's way worse. Because now we can see it in our living room. It's in our living room.
I do know some other places in the township that has an issue, but the people that's getting the light shined on them are happy to have it. So they're not opposed to it. And I do know one that's very bright like that and shines across other property, but it's not invading their privacy. So one of the things that we try to, when we're talking about zoning issues, is whatever you're doing shouldn't negatively impact the neighbors around you.
Yes. I
And
agree.
so,
Whether it's noise or.
Yeah, I know we have a noise thing, I think, in there, but do we have anything in zoning about light?
The only thing we have for zoning is parking lot, and that's in business and industrial.
Is there any general language about causing a hardship on,
A nuisance.
a nuisance on neighbors?
Not. There's one for like public health and stuff like that. where it's causing like issues with.
Right, and you bleed over a
Yeah.
chemical or something along those lines, yeah.
So it's really an issue that we would have to send to our zoning commission to add to when we, if we want to add some type of regulation, we don't, ordinances are in villages and we do resolutions in township.
Gotcha.
That would have to be, needs to go through our commission. And they're in the middle of that process. They create suppose what they would like to add. It has to go to Stark County Regional Planning at the county level. They give their opinion on it. Then it comes back to the commission. They hold a public hearing on it. Then they make a recommendation to the trustees and we hold a public hearing. And then we make a decision. So we can take this to them and ask that process to move forward. It'll probably take maybe 2 months by the time it runs through all those hearings.
Our entire summer last year was ruined because of this, and now this summer as well, but you
Yeah,
gotta start somewhere.
yeah. I mean, we have to follow the state process,
Protocol.
but we've never had a problem before where someone didn't welcome whatever it was. And I understand why you don't, because I live way out in the country and I wouldn't like that either. Especially it's shining that far.
My sister lives next to us as well, and she has a big pine tree in the front. And if it weren't for that pine tree, the one across from her, which is up at the Oberlin property, would be lighting up her entire living room. It's that close and that bright. Thank God for the tree. But she says the light is very obnoxious. It is. Those lights are very obnoxious. And hate to take away people's security, but on the other hand, I would think they could find security in a way that is not intruding.
Right.
And Mary, I don't know if you've done this yet, but if you talk with the county health department, there might be something that falls under their purview.
I was thinking, if the light's blinding as you're driving, that could
That's what I was
be
thinking,
a
so-
public safety issue.
Right, in the
Yeah.
Something
experience,
might fall under that.
yeah, when the LED signs became very popular, people would turn them up and it would blind people on the street. And so you could be fined, and there's limitations in the village per se. So for instance, like C&B Body, before it burned down, they put up a big LED light. I was there when they did it. I worked for them when they did it. And when they first fired that thing up, it was so bright, people coming down the hill, it was just blinding them. So they had to turn it way down. And so you're finding that on main drags. Well, obviously, it's a little different scenario where we are now. And just as a point of clarity, because this just is kind of what we, how we are in the world, we could go through this entire process and we could put it in our book and they could still do it. And we'd have to then go through the process of trying to figure out how to, because at the end of the day, we're all adults with our own personal property that we've bought and paid for, and we have these rights, and so like we have nuisance properties that we worked on for 3 years and sent letter after letter after letter after letter. At the end of the day, it could be something quick and easier. It might be a long process, just to clarify that, because at the end of the day, we can't go yank it off the side of the building, and you're not asking us to, but I'm just saying, just as we're talking about it, because we've had other nuisance issues in the zoning world that, we have to, and we do our best as the township to try to put the things in the book and follow the law. And at the end of the day, we have to follow what the law is outside of emotion, which sometimes we could completely agree with you and want to put up a shield, but we have to follow the law.
What makes it more difficult, I'm sorry, is that unfortunately, where our property sits, we're the only people that are getting blasted,
Gotcha.
other than my sister who's behind that tree.
Gotcha.
And no one else is affected because of the way the property sits.
Got it.
So that makes it even more difficult.
That makes it even more difficult,
Yeah.
right? You almost wish the whole street was blinded because there'd be a bunch of people sitting here with you.
And, people's rights should begin and end at their property.
I understand.
And your security, if they're worried about security, that should end at your property, not blast over the road
Right.
and go,
Right.
320
Now, obviously,
yards.
this would be something that would come with cost and some other things as well. But if they flip that light around and put it down by their mailbox and
That's
shine
what
it
I
the
was
other
gonna
way,
Back at their own
it
house.
doesn't shine to your house.
Oh, that'd be great.
And it still illuminates their front yard.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, you've got to get someone to say yes to that and agree to that and make that happen.
And then there's also the fact of I worked with a fella and his neighbor did that where he lived. And he fought him for years, and we had to work swing term where I worked 68 hours a week schedule. So when it comes time to rest, you need to rest. And he was blinded by light constantly. I think he finally moved.
I'm gonna drive out at night, I just want to see it.
You're
Not that I
welcome.
don't believe you, I just.
Yeah, you're welcome to come on our property. You're just-
Yes.
The only thing I think about what you guys said was, it doesn't really hit you hard when you're driving in. If it's blinding you that bad driving out, and that's an unsafety as far as driving, that I would think something could be done.
The Overley
If it's
property.
blinding the people driving,
Yeah, the overlay.
going back to the east, going out,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's where it hits you more, going back out than coming in.
Depending on which one you're talking about.
Going west, if you're going west.
If you're going west, you went on the Overley properties out by the road, and it's gonna hit you in the face, which comes when you come in or when you come.
It's brighter than the oncoming traffic lights.
Gotcha.
That's what I'm getting at, yeah, that's,
And,
if it's doing that, that would be unsafe driving.
where you really get a taste of what it's like is when you're physically on our property back where we want to enjoy ourselves. And you see then how the light comes across our property. That's where I would invite any and all of you to come and just see for
So it
yourself.
sounds like it's like a car shining down on you all the time.
Pardon?
You, like car headlights
Yeah,
down
car
on you all the
More
headlights.
like
time.
airplane lights.
Oh, well, right. But there's like, yeah,
And
all right, well, we're gonna.
Well, thank you for coming.
I mean, Mary will
Thank you
stay
for
in
listening.
contact with you, and, like I said, I'm gonna have her check with the health department to see what issues may be at the county level. The county has different regulations than what we do, and they may be able to do something for us. And if not, we can, and we will also take the issue to our commission and ask them to look at adding something. But like I said, that's a fairly long process. That's not
I
a quick,
understand, and I figured it would be, but we had to start.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
to help prevent from running into it again, because property owners have a right to do what they want with their property, but they don't have a right to negatively impact others.
Correct, infringe.
Correct.
Well, I want to thank you for being good neighbors and trying to solve it on your own, because a lot of times we get it before any of the work was done. You tried and you've contacted them, so thank you for doing that. Because a lot of times it lands at us and says, guess how awful this is, and you at least gave it a shot. And so we'll try to work on our end to try to help if we can.
To be honest with you, we didn't say anything to the Overleys because they're in their 80s. And the one opportunity I had when she came out to the road and was chatting with me, I found out real quick, it didn't appear that, she could remember things real well. So I thought it was just a meeting point. So I didn't pursue it.
Understood.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you, guys.
listening.
Yeah, thank you very much for bringing the issue to us.
All right. Move on to, I can't, is it John?
Thank you. folks.
Again, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
You too.
That's right.
Is it John?
Is it John?
John or Jake? I can't read your writing very well. Is it John?
James,
James.
There.
I received a letter Friday about cleaning up the yard. And I don't think I'm gonna be able to meet your criteria for getting it done.
What's the address, sir? What's the address?
3491 Indian Rome Avenue.
3491 Indian Road. Okay.
Mary, what's
What's the website?
It's on your zone
In
report.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
In the letter, I talked about high grass, junk vehicles, and trash.
Okay.
Basically, the grass needs to be mowed, and there's a bunch of vehicles there that could potentially be junk vehicles.
Is the trash loose, blowing around, or what's the story?
From what I saw, it's on a trailer, but with the high grass, I can't really tell. That's just what I received from the person calling.
Do you live there, sir?
Pardon?
Do you live there?
Yeah.
I think this is the one, you have a camper sitting there. I noticed it because I drive by there a lot. The door was open all winter long. Are you not using that camper?
I may be, someone may be moving in, but no, I don't use a camper right now.
Because there's not an outlet for that camper for, are you just retaining the water in the,
Oh, there's nothing hooked up to the camper.
okay, so there's no wastewater coming out of it. That's what I was, if someone's gonna use
Well,
it.
there's a small tank that, if there is wastewater, it goes into the tank.
Okay. I just seen the door was open on it,
Cats,
the patio. And I thought, I wonder if they know the door's open.
cats.
Okay.
Cats will stay there when it gets cold.
What, I don't understand, why do you feel you can't mow the grass, or just explain to me why, or what?
Well, I haven't cut the grass at all since last year. So the grass is very high. And I have a lot of physical problems, so I can't do much each day. I can only work for a couple hours each day. And I haven't had anybody to help. I may in the future have somebody to help, but right now I don't have anybody to help. So it's gonna take me a while to get everything ready. Some of the mowers I'm having troubles with, and same thing with some of the equipment. So I need to get them while working, and I just haven't. As I said, I have a lot of physical problems.
So we do have lots of people, well, not lots, we do have people in the township that aren't able to mow their grass. We have a mowing service we use. How high is the grass?
Whoa, up 2 or 3 feet.
Okay,
It's high. You have to, I don't know if you can mow it, probably has to be
Brush hog.
weedy.
We,
I had somebody start Friday or Saturday doing that, but not that much. It's not gonna be an easy job.
as far as the vehicles go, are they vehicles you're working on or vehicles you're repairing?
Just to go on and
oh, she's got it.
Gotcha.
As I said, I've had a lot of physical problems, so I wasn't able to do anything for a period of time.
Yeah.
A long period of time, and
And it's just you at the house then? You by yourself?
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm by myself right
Gotcha.
now. It may change in the near future, then everything will be a lot easier, but right now it isn't.
What do you mean by near future? The next 30 days, next 60?
Pardon?
What do you mean by near future? Is that 30 days, 6 months, 12 months?
Oh, I mean, I'm doing this?
No,
Oh, getting help.
having help.
Well, he started on Friday, started doing some of the weeding. So,
The problem is we have an ordinance in our,
I understand.
and our hands are kind of tied here, because if we don't follow our ordinance, then pretty soon it's everywhere. And
I understand.
I mean, if you can,
Also,
if
you
you're
need
working
to
on
send
it,
me a
keep moving,
certified
making
letter.
progress, there's,
A single letter isn't good enough.
Yeah, that was just the first letter, kind of let you know the issue that we received
Yeah.
to complain about it.
To talk about it and see what we could do. 'Cause we-
Afterwards, I would send you that.
if you got help coming,
Well, it's.
and they start attacking it, yeah, we'll work with you on it.
Well, it's not gonna be fast. It's not like, you want me to have all the grass cut in 2 days, right?
Well, it's a boilerplate letter, we're gonna work with you as long as something's being done, and it's.
Yeah, we'll get rid of all the vehicles, gonna move all the vehicles. I have a skid loader to move everything, but I have to get that thing working and everything else. And then, as I said, I haven't done anything for like a couple of years, so everything's been sitting. So I have to get it back up to the top already.
We gotta keep seeing some progress. Like, I mean, we can't go a couple years, but,
Oh, no.
as long, we're not here to fight you. We're here to work with you.
Well, and we appreciate you coming in. Thank you. I mean, we appreciate you coming in and talking to us because it makes it way easier when we can have a dialogue. Way easier.
Yeah,
So-
we're here.
Well, last time this happened, you guys came, you sent me a letter like this, and all of a sudden, the mowers showed up to cut the grass.
Gotcha.
This is that.
And
Yeah,
that was about 5
Yeah,
years
right,
ago.
right.
yeah, that shouldn't have happened that way.
So you ended up paying for it yourself
We did,
for the law,
Gotcha.
we did.
because you never sent a certified letter, so I just ignored it. I didn't realize
Right.
that you were gonna do it right away.
All right, well,
So just to clarify right now, since we're all here, what is our process? The letter he has in his hand now, what is our process and our timeline that we typically follow?
So the letter he has now would be the first letter. You have 7 days to do it. From that, if nothing happens, I would send a second certified letter with 7 days. Or if the problem happened within the last 12 months, you have 4 days to clean it up.
Gotcha.
So,
Afterwards, they would come to you to
Yeah.
fix it.
so you came here tonight to talk about it, and you're telling us you have a plan, you have a guy that's gonna be,
Yeah, we're starting to fix everything, get everything working, so I can cut the grass and do everything
Yeah.
and move everything. I can move it all to the bottom of the back of the garage, all the vehicles.
and so today's the 12th, so in a couple weeks, 26, maybe Mary can take a drive over and look and see if you've made progress and things are looking better.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
And as long as we're moving in the right direction.
Right.
There's one thing, I don't wanna cut all the property. I have a section that I haven't cut for 5 years. I'd like to leave it uncut.
Where's that at? Is that directly in front of the house? Is that north, south, or what?
No, it's not in front of the house, it's
It's
next to
south.
Next to
the,
that south.
the garage on the,
I feel like if around the house starts cleaning up,
Yeah,
people are gonna leave you alone on the other stuff.
Right,
Because
right.
we don't come up with this stuff. A lot of times it's called in, because we can't be everywhere in the township. But if there's a high section of grass that you don't want to cut, if you get everything cleaned up around the house, they're probably going to leave you alone on that one. I mean, obviously we have to
Yeah.
follow the law, but
I think I would focus on the front of the house first.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
look at the house.
All right, well, like I said, if you keep making progress, we'll work with you on it.
Okay. Well,
thanks.
thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank
Appreciate it, James.
Have a good night. Okay.
Yeah, those are, keep them in the right order, Eric.
Mary, what was his last name?
Wilson.
Lawson.
James Law.
So we'll do a 2-week checkup.
Fire report.
The update on 241, it did go back to RVs. They blew dirt out of it. So as of right now, it's working. Fingers crossed. So they didn't have to do anything. They just took it apart, blew the
checks
dirt
out.
out. Yep. And
Great.
so that is the case.
Good.
The only other thing, and it's not on there because this was Friday when I worked, apparently our alarm system is going off, like not in the building, but our dispatch keeps calling us and saying that like, are you cooking something? Like, what is going on?
Ah,
We need to have them come out and do a service on it, but they need a work order, I believe, from the fiscal officer to do that. I have a phone number. The company is US Alarm Company. They would,
Who's getting the alarm, the dispatch?
our dispatch. So we're connected into CENTCOM. CENTCOM is getting an alarm from the station.
so your station isn't doing anything, but they're calling and
Does
saying,
it tell
we
you,
have, yeah.
does
No.
it tell you what kind of alarm's going
No.
on? So they're just getting an alarm
They're
general?
getting, I believe it's the smoke alarm that's going off. Like they're getting, because both times they've called, I think it's gone off 4 times now in the last week. They've called and asked if we were cooking.
Yeah, so the sensor above the
Yeah,
kitchen
there's a
probably is
sensor.
faulty.
No.
That's not working.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when I called the alarm company, he said they can't just come out and look at it. He needs a work order. And that needs to come from,
Give me the numbers and all, because I've never had to call on that.
yeah,
So-
I have, it was not, I'm not sure who this company is. Like, it was not
Do you want to look for another company?
positive experience. I mean, I don't know. I've never actually dealt with them
Do you have
before.
a security keypad in the facility?
So we do.
Okay,
So if it's audible in the station, I can reset it. But none of the times that our dispatch has called us has it been audible in the station.
Right.
but the security system, the keypad is in the system as ours, that's what
Mhm.
calls SEMCON. We have a guy that comes out and does ours here, I would think
Correct.
it's the same guy.
Yeah,
And he don't have to have it, I just call him up and he comes and looks at it.
Yeah, I tried calling him.
Unless it's something different that I'm not aware of, because
I'm not sure.
give me what information you have and then I'll
I
call
can.
our guy for here.
Yeah,
Because
see
the
if they'll
same
go.
company does both of them.
that's what I would think. I called, I talked to the gentleman, he was unable to assist me.
Okay.
So, but I have a phone number. I at least have the phone number that I called.
I bet that one sensor above the kitchen is bad.
It's possible.
I want to confirm who it is, because ours here was set up at the same time as the fire station for security coming in and out of the facility.
That's the phone
And,
there.
and it's called US Alarm. Yeah, that's him. I know that's the guy.
Yeah.
But I just called him just in general, and he came out and he reprogrammed our master reset on our keypad, and we never did get a bill for it. He said, "Don't worry about it." That's, but this might be a physical
Sensor.
sensor that's a problem. Yeah, I believe I'm gonna have this guy's number.
Okay.
Now
It was the sticker on the alarm system,
Yeah.
and that's who I had called. So,
All right.
18 calls, 3 of them prior calls, a couple assists to and from neighboring departments.
Trustees, from a couple meetings back, the overhead garage door had been called as a service call. We did receive the bill. I am asking for approval for a then and now repair for magic door. It ended up being $815. I have it prepared tonight as part of the checks and a purchase order dated tonight. If approved, we can run that through, but that was an $815 charge.
Can we go back on that charge? Did they replace the door or was it just a repair?
No, these are springs. It needed 2 springs, torsion springs.
Okay, so it
Cabling.
springs on it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Trustee Varian moves to pay Magic Door $815 for a door repair at the fire station.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
All those in favor, aye.
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that's it.
That,
Do we have a timeline on that? 8 o'clock. We're supposed to do that later.
Okay. It is now 8:07. We will move to our bid package for the road resurfacing. Is this yours?
Oh, yeah, thanks, sorry, I gave you mine, sorry.
trustees, just a reminder, we had prepared that bid. We received only 1 bid as of Friday, the deadline July 9th at 2:30. I have prepared that for you all to look at tonight. It was from the, I gotta make sure I got all my names right here. From the Melway Paving Company. You could read over all those pages, ask questions,
Fiscal officer, is it typical to only get 1 bid? Is that typical?
It is on our chip and seal. We usually only get 1. That
Okay.
was 2020. When we did Strasser for micro sealing, we usually only get 1. And
Okay.
there again, these companies, Strasser, for example, is the only company in the area that does
That
those kind
does
of
the-
things.
okay. I was just
Chip
curious.
and seal is, there is other companies, but we build a rapport with them and it's out there advertised to everybody.
Right.
When we do paving, when we actually do just a paving project, we did receive multiple bids a few years back when we did some paving.
Okay,
Like road leveling, we received a couple.
got it.
So
So did they give us a start date on this?
the date they originally said on the grid, and I think Stu can confirm that, they looked at late August to get here.
City was pretty busy up to the end of August.
But we will make August or not?
He said end of
what's the
August, he'd be
61,
busy clear up to the end of August.
What do you look?
How long do you think this project will
Oh,
take?
it's a 2-foot burn. Or we had Stuckey.
I don't know, a couple of days.
Is
Honestly,
it
I
a
don't,
week?
I've never, I haven't been here at the township when we ever motor paved.
Okay,
I haven't, I've been here 9.5 years and we've never motor paved. We have road leveled with asphalt before.
okay, so we really don't know how long it's gonna take.
But this is
It's
the
a micro seal, but
But if he takes the bid, he's not gonna let it go to snow flies, is he?
well,
you better not.
road superintendent can tell you the difference, this situation, when you motor pave, they're gonna be literally going over a hot surface within that day or 2 and chip and sealing. It isn't like gonna sit there for another month.
Yeah, you have to do the process.
Motor
together.
paving is not like,
I see.
blacktopping or something like that, or chip and sealing where you're spraying down a hot tack.
Okay,
This is a cold type mix that goes down on the road.
Got it.
And then they use hot tack over top of that to chip and seal. So that would be the biggest thing I'd worry about if it starts getting
Exactly.
too cold.
The chip and seal's not gonna
It's
stick.
not gonna stay.
So I understand that, I mean, business is business and he could be till the end of August, but if we accepted this bid, could we say to him, we're ready? Are we ready?
He already knows that.
So if something falls through,
He's trying
we're
to,
ready.
he told us that he was hoping for the end of August when he was out.
That's what he said.
How's the number work, Ryan?
The numbers we have for the fund that we pay that out of is our 2141, but we also use another fund of our 2011 and stuff like that. We have multiple funds that are road funds that we can use. And right now, unencumbered balance is $242,506.80. Usually that, and being it's unencumbered at 242,560 or 506, encumbered for our Strasser project is already done out of that. So it's already done. So we truly have $242,506 to go against that bid projection. Now, the only thing else that has to be paid out of that fund is the second half payment to the village, which our first half payment of the taxes that have been collected, that the township collects as part of our county, the state levied money, or not state levy, but our property tax for our area, we have to reimburse the village. And that was the first half around $29,800 and some dollars. I'm anticipating that to be that much again, because usually they're equal amounts, but I'm prepared to do whatever balance that is. Once I know that dollar amount from the Stark County Auditor, I can pull from two other road funds, whatever we need, and still allow us over almost $200,000 of money to allow for salt purchase of up to $100,000 if we need to fill the salt bin when that project's done.
Yep.
To do other things that we need to do, such as fuel. If we have any additional, that gives me just about where we're picture perfect with where we are every year to have that for a carryover to start our new year up until new tax revenue comes.
So just to refresh, this is over by where the coal mine, where we're rebuilding that road, correct?
Yeah.
And they gave us a certain amount of money.
132,000.
132.
Okay. And then we're also picking up and doing the old Sindel, correct?
Right.
You're also doing Stuckey, the whole Stuckey.
All of Stuckey right now.
Right.
Yep.
And you're
Yes.
doing Sand Crable from the entrance of the mine out to
To the 30.
Route 30.
Yep.
And it's being burned.
And they're doing a section, just a small section where Stu might be able to elaborate that, where there was some culvert placed on Mott's.
Yeah.
That's part of that,
Lots on there.
because they're right there with equipment. They can go right out there and motor
Wow,
pave
there.
and blend
The
that
estimated
area.
square is quite a bit smaller, right on lots. Yeah, I can see that.
It's not very big.
It's not
It's
very
small.
big. Yeah. It's
Okay.
only like 20 by
Yeah.
as wide as the road is, 16 inches.
2 sheets of plywood about cut.
2 sheets of plywood. With the prices of plywood right now, good luck. Well, I feel like if we have the money, we don't have other bids, we got to move, don't we?
Some of the breakdown, trustees, on when I prepared the bid package with the help of Road Superintendent Unkerfer, there was some widths, like Sand Crable out where it meets Route 30 is wider, so you'll see some variances there where it actually gets wider. That's where these additional square footage was. If you see number 7, Sand Crable section at Route 30, additional 150 by 22, that's wider there. If you're ever familiar with that, that's why I figured that way. And it looks like they calculated that all in, so that whole area would be done. Over on Mott's, that little section that Trustee Puro said that 333 square feet, that's like you say, it's not that big of an area, but it needs done. And they have equipment right there. You'll notice there's breakdowns on the berming of roads. That's just to let you know that those berms were figured in on those areas, on Stuckey and on St. Crable.
So road superintendent, you feel good about what you've got here as far as what they're getting covered?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I'll make a motion, we accept the bid for Melway paving for $219,190.
Trustee Varian, second.
All those in favor, aye. Opposed?
And trustees, just so you know, there is an escalator clause in our bid package. The only way that would go into effect if there was additional costs for the oils or the stones would be increased, but can't go exceed 10% of that.
Oh,
And as fiscal officer, I am prepared if that does kick in.
It can't exceed 10% of the bid.
Yeah,
Okay. Total.
just so you know that, but when you approve, if everything's been done good and no price changes or have effect, just think about it. They just turned that in. I don't think there'll be anything in the next month or
You
so,
might do this a little bit.
but it might fluctuate a little bit. It could, but there is an escalator in there, clause in there. That's to protect the vendor a little bit, and I figured that in on my cushion here.
All right. Maybe he'll be a little high on his tonnage and we'll see maybe he'll be a little high on his tonnage.
And save some money.
The other guy comes back less usually, doesn't he? I doubt it. You never know.
I know in the past, 2020, when we do our chip and seal, whenever he does his amount, they seem to always come under that, which gives us that cushion. But I think this will do everything you trustees had wanted to do. You got your microsurfacing on the table and have that approved to do. You've got these road projects.
You got a lot done.
You got a lot going, and you got a salt shed project going on. So this is a big year for us, on
Yeah, a lot of
spending.
projects.
And money that was appropriated, some of it in 2020, but because of the pandemic scare, we held off on some of these moves because we wanted to see where we would be at.
Right.
I think you're doing a good move to get it done.
All right. Let's move to the cemetery.
I know Ryan, I haven't talked to him other than church, and he didn't say anything that he had. So any information you would have.
Me and Stu met Andy Parker out there on Friday.
Oh, good.
We looked at the situation. There is a spot where you went into the church. It's a foundation that we don't know exactly what it is. So Andy's giving me a price. Best case scenario of $1,000. Worst case $2,400. He said if that comes out easy, it won't be. If not, we just don't know what we're going to get into on it. So up to $2,400.
Is he planning on taking it all out of one piece or can jackhammer it out?
He's going to try and roll it out with the dozer
With the
and bury it back in where the rest of the debris
Okay.
is.
Gotcha.
Where the basement was.
Okay.
We just don't know. His dozer might roll it out
And he
easy,
might not.
and it just might take him more hours.
All right.
He's going to work.
We don't have that kind of money in that account, do we, Brian?
Well, I'm looking that over. I just ran a report after I did all the treasury report. We had that $2,000 that you all approved is in there. We had used $1,700 of that, but we still have, depending on our contract with Sonny Fitzsimmons, how many open and closings we have over $4,000 there unencumbered. And the contract which we have with Beck's Lawn Care, we have over $4,000 there, which
We've got to see
looking
that
like
through
if
for the
everybody,
year, right? Yeah.
well, the lawn care, if it falls into place, now he did an extra one to get us caught back up, but now I anticipate after this raining
Oh, it's
week,
the grass is gonna go crazy.
hopefully by August, September, we can back that down and we'll be on track there. The one that Sonny, that do our grave digging, I think at the rate we're doing now, it was a bad year last year for a lot of burials. but we might pick up another 1,000 or two there that could be moved through the resolutions to move in to help us out there. But I do have about $600 under small tools and maintenance equipment and other expenses. If there's a situation where you needed another $400 or $500, I think I can make it work. If it did go higher at that $2,400, I can make it go there.
Well, the only thing we have is 250 on top of that to seed it down to grass. Now, that was right.
Well, we saved on the concrete pylons that Stu got us for over at the cemetery. You guys had appropriated 300. We only used $70.
That's good.
So right there is your money for your seeding.
Good.
Okay.
Back to the burials, Brian, I thought that was funding that residents already paid and it's sitting there waiting for us to use it when they need it to dig that.
Say that again.
When people purchase lots and prepay,
Okay, prepays are not.
okay, I just want to make sure it
Prepays
wasn't prepaid.
Yeah, prepays, if, on the appropriation side, I appropriated $29,000.
Okay,
Right now, we have received, I gotta make sure I gotta we've received over $12,000. So at the balance between now and the end of the year, we will receive that, but that $29,000 you appropriated is not part of that because I save about $10,000 right now is what we have in prepays. I
okay.
do not allow you, or at least.
Yeah, that's what
I
I'm
do not allow
I
you
understand.
You have access if you guys override me,
Right,
but I'm,
yeah, that's
I'm
not,
not making it available because I
That's-
want to protect that.
that's money waiting. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Well, it's already
It's already paid.
Yeah.
designated.
At the worst case scenario, if we ever got in a jam or there was a project that needed a few $100s, you could always ask me to go from the general fund. The general fund does have, some 3,000, 2,000 for on-site projects and things like that you could use that for. There.
I don't, unless he didn't anticipate, he just trying to protect.
Do you feel like we need to, we've been talking about this for a little while, now we have numbers, it needs done.
It's got-
After all this rain, it's gonna get even worse, it's gonna keep growing. Do we need to get this approved and going?
Yep,
Nice.
something that happened.
All right, trustee Varian moves to pay Andy Parker the sum of $1,000 up to $2,400, depending on the bill that comes in, and an extra $250 to seed. Would you like that separate? Sorry, probably gonna be paid separate. So $1,000 to $2,400 to Andy Parker. That is my resolution to put into Wildwood Cemetery.
Now, there's one other thing to this. If things are going well, we're not gonna exceed the 2,400. There's 2 pine trees there we had talked about taking out.
Yep.
If everything's going good, why, he's got the dozer there. If he's on low, you want him to pop them trees
Pop them
out.
stumps out.
Yeah, if we can stay under that.
They're right there with it, you know.
We'll cut them down, get them hauled out of there, just have them run down there and pop them out with the dozer real quick.
Stay under that 24 if we can.
We can haul them away and everything and fill that in. That way there's nothing there obstructing anything besides the parquet.
That,
The
that'll
cement,
be,
the little cement abutments.
Trustee Griffith seconds the motion to allow Andy Parker to work in the cemetery from not to exceed $2,400.
all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed?
Trustee Piro, does Andy Parker have a company name or is it going to him? Because,
I don't know how you operate.
just make sure of that because when we talk about doing 1099s and all that stuff,
I think
there's
he
a
does.
labor versus fuel and stuff. If he is an LLC, that does help a lot, just.
What- You wanna make? Trustee Drew, go ahead.
Trustee Varian moves to, we're gonna pay Ryan for the seed, is that right?
Well, the seeding, I don't know how you had planned on doing that, but we can go to Masquerade or someplace to get that on one of our vendors to get the seeding, but then Ryan works on an hourly rate, or you want to pay him something separate. He does already, you got to be careful with that because Ryan is on our payroll. So if Ryan is going to do it, it should be part of his hourly job.
Okay, got it. All right, trustee Varian moves to approve $250 to seed Wildwood once the excavating has been done by Parker. And we're going to have Ryan complete that task at his hourly wage.
I don't know how he's gonna handle that, but that might be fine.
Okay,
He
well,
was here, when he was here, he said he'd do it
He
for
said he would do that.
$250, so
Okay.
I'll contact him.
Trustee Griffith seconds that.
All those in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? All right. Road report.
Evening, everybody. If the trustees have looked over the road report, is there any questions?
Where's the culvert on Hill Church?
What are you talking about?
We went out and measured Hill Church for a culvert replacement in the very first day, Monday, the 28th.
That was, I think, Bonham's. We replaced 30 feet of culvert there. You said on Hill Church?
It says Hill Church.
Yeah, Bonham's.
I don't know where that is.
Bill Bonham's, the old
Oh,
farm.
Bonham's.
Bonham's. Excuse me on
Okay.
pronunciation.
I thought you were saying Bowman. I know Bonham's. Okay.
Parker has business,
Parker contract.
paying him for some.
LLC or
Should just ask you.
I know his name, but I don't know if it's an LLC or why.
Sorry.
Amy's over there like,
yeah,
I
I've
know, you just have to ask me, I'm not saying that.
But I don't know I don't know what the.
So Stu, I'll mention I had a resident call and ask why we aren't mowing like we used to, where you have one mower following the other mower. Their comment was that when we did that, everything was mowed and clean looking at once. But they supposedly, now I'm just saying, this is what I was told. They're saying that we mow one piece of it, and then a couple weeks later, someone comes through and mows another piece, but the first piece is already growing back and it doesn't look as nice.
I understand that.
I did say we've been having mower issues.
That's
but
right.
They're running
I did
tandem
say-
now because I seen them mowing.
But they don't usually mow together. I don't want them mowing
The other
together.
day they were, because there was a pass low and high.
What's that?
The other day I seen a road, I had to have been mowing tandem.
No.
Maybe they just landed on the
They
same road.
they do for Stu, you know.
Sometimes,
they do,
but a lot of
they
times-
can. But Stu, you can say
I
when
was-
they were out
they
for
were doing a nice
repairs,
job.
when they
Can I
were out
talk
for
for a second?
repairs, when they were out for repairs, they only had one mower for a while. They only had the one mower.
Go ahead, Stu.
When they're out mowing, there's no way they're ever gonna go in tandem all the time because the lead mower can only make 1 to 2 passes. And that guy with the boom mower is reaching back 3 and 4 passes and doing tree limbs up. He never will stay with them ever.
So it
Right
takes
behind
a lot
him.
longer.
It takes longer. You might see that at the beginning of the year when they first start out and go out, but that never happened because we had all the breakdowns.
Mhm.
One was broke down for a long time and we was only able to go with the flail mower and you could do at least to get the first pass or 2 passes.
Right.
So at least
It
it
was
was
kinda
knocked
bad.
back from the road to where it looked decent.
Stu, did we end up getting new air tanks on 201 or did we get the quote for that?
Yes, we got a quote for that.
Okay, no, we talked about it.
Yeah, we got it. We got it, Friday.
Okay.
Cool. Friday.
So are we moving
We're-
forward with the air tanks?
1,586.41 was the quote for the additional amount.
41. And that's both, there's 2, correct?
Both.
That's both.
That's both tanks, the straps.
And they were doing brakes too, weren't they?
Yes, they're working on that right now.
Okay. All 4 of them?
Sounds like they're having to replace both chambers.
Yeah.
The brakes
chamber.
look fairly new yet. So that might not cost as near as much as what the quote was, so we'll see.
Okay. So do we want to do it then and now for that since it's already in, Mr. Lowry?
What you want to do is you've already approved all the repairs already up
Okay.
to $1,700, I believe, a little over that. This is separate, so it was found afterwards.
Got it.
So I would do what's called a then and now for that amount.
Okay.
All right, trustee Piro moves to do it then and now on 2 air tanks for, what truck number?
Truck 201.
Truck 201 at a cost of $1,586.41.
Trustee Varian, second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I got a approved Schwab Technology to replace hard drive and RUD computer. Trustee Piro moves to pay Schwab Technology $160 for the hard drive replacement.
That was a what do they call it, doggone, what's the name of the hard drive? We just put one in this laptop and the other one, it's called a solid state hard
So it's
drive.
very hard, yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing's been,
Because what was in Stu's computer was the old style.
Yeah.
And I don't know, when we had, believe it or not, we had powers flickering off in here because they were testing powers when they were working on some power in here internally. And I don't know if that's when it went out, but we found out the battery backup on that computer was bad also in that time. And I don't know if it all kind of went together.
Yeah.
But the battery backup was over 5 years old on that computer, along with that hard drive was probably over 5 years old too.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hear anything else, Stu?
One other thing that happened today when I went up to check a culvert out on Mitty Road. I had people come up to me and were stressing a point about the big tree at the end of Mitty and 172 there on that property on the corner, that big bean tree or whatever.
Cigar tree?
What?
That's one that looks like it has the cigars hanging down?
Yes.
Been there since,
What are they called?
Catalpa.
say this again, 172 and what? Midday?
At Midday.
Okay.
When you
Yep.
come back Midday to 172 and you come up to the stop sign,
it's right in the front yard.
right there on the right-hand corner, that tree is so huge.
Mm-hmm. I know where you
You cannot see if cars are coming from East Canton going east to try to pull out there to go east. And the limb is hanging down so bad, the one limb, you can actually see the trucks and
Trucks are probably
bigger
brushing it.
vehicles are hitting it out there on 172 even.
Yeah.
Some of the limbs are breaking and hanging there.
Isn't that home vacant?
What's that?
Isn't that home vacant?
It's the one
No,
on
I
the
think-
other side.
No, it's on the other side.
Okay.
Somebody
That, the
somebody
home
bought the
on,
house.
the home on the other side, they finally started doing something with. They put
Yes.
a roof on it, they fixed the
Yeah,
garage.
fixed the garage. It really
It's the
worked
other,
out fine.
it's the other corner.
The other corner,
That house is
the
So the-
people are living in there. But this tree blocks your view. I mean, if you're in a large truck like our dump trucks
You
or
can't
any
see
kind of
past the
large truck,
tree.
you're up so high, you're looking into those
Yeah.
limbs and trees in that huge trunk. You cannot see.
The homeowner's responsible for having anything that blocks the view for safety. So.
Plus, that tree's probably in that 60-foot right of way for the state road.
Yeah.
It's in there right away. So I don't know how that would,
The reason they've gotten away from it is because people, when you take a right, you're taking a right that way.
Right.
If it were to the
It's fine.
left, it would be complained about months ago. Do you know what I'm saying? It's still hard, it's still dangerous. I'm just saying if, that's why.
and I've made calls before about that tree and I've made calls about the trees to the left going east.
Yeah.
As you're looking to
It's a
see if you
blind
want
spot.
to pull out and
Who
go
are you
west.
calling?
Yeah, peek up.
You have to call either the state or stop and see the people personally too at their house to see
Yeah.
what can be done, if they would have it trimmed.
Right. So I think we need to have zoning just send a letter to the property owner. The trees become a hazard of blocking the vision for safety issues. They need to respond. If they're going to have the tree trimmed, they can call the state and see if they can work something out with the state. But we'll have to have a response from them.
Because it really sticks out on the state road. It's not on our road or, we could,
Yeah, it's on a state road.
But it's
It is.
affecting our township residents.
I know
on
that.
Monday.
That's what I'm saying though.
Yeah.
For us to go out there on that road and try to at least cut that one limb off, be a little dangerous.
Mary, you know where we're talking about. You look up a parcel number. I don't know who lives there.
I don't either. I should have got the address, tried to get the address off the house today, but
I'll be able to find it.
It faces 172, but they enter off bed A. So
thank you.
They just need to get a
Well,
hold
they
of
have
you
one
and
on the driveway.
let us know how they want to take care of
Yeah,
trimming that tree back.
I haven't paid attention once. All right. Anything else?
No, I think that's all I have for right now.
All right. Trustee Varian would like to move to executive session for personnel matters. This refers to the appointment, employment, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, or the investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual.
Go ahead.
That's okay. I
You
move for executive session.
Okay. Before we second, it's okay for Amy to go. You guys want to
Yeah.
go?
Yeah, we can let Stu go too.
Stu needs to sit in the garage.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
Mary,
Hey!
a zoning inspector will be staying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trustee Piro, second, we'll go in, all this, we'll go into executive session at 8:37.
Okay, trustees.
Roll call.
Roll call. Griffith,
Yes.
Piro,
Yes.
and Varian.
Yeah.
When we go into this, I'm going to be shutting off all recording and audio. I will then have to fire it back up, Dan. We're going back into our meeting. So give me some time to do that when the time comes.
Could we just go to another room?
I'll leave
Would
that
that
on.
leave it on, or?
Well, you can leave it on if you want to do that. You're
Sure.
welcome to
Let's
do that.
use it.
Let's do that.
Try
You
to
don't have
use
to
that
go through the
front,
process.
use that front, because this is the first time we ever had so much audio on, and I know it's sensitive to hear,
Okay.
to hear everything, you have to.
All right.
No, that's
Sounds good.
So let us
We'll
go
leave-
first, Mary.
We'll leave
then we'll-
Mary here to be on
Mary,
TV.
That's
Look yourself up on
That's what I heard.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Stu. Thank you, Amy.
You guys are more than welcome to stay if you'd like.
What?
You're more than welcome to stay if you'd like.
I want to make sure Amy gets out to the car all right.
I'm gonna leave that live streaming on.
like.
Because I've never shut it off and then turned it back on. Hopefully this is.
Morning.
Yeah, everybody got that. Before you do this, because you're on tape.
So it's Christie making calls now.
She told her kids they had to call.
You know what? She worked hard. She deserves it.
Okay, we're back from executive session at 8:56.
What you want to do is do your motions and roll calls.
So we're back in session.
Yes.
Trustee Griffith will make a motion to move the salary of our zoning inspector with an increase of $300, starting July 30th.
Trustee Varian, second.
Roll call, please.
Varian,
Yes.
Griffith,
Yes.
Pira.
Yes. Okay. That will move right into zoning.
Since we last met, I had 2 permits issued. One of which was today, so Brian just got that check for today.
What was it for, Mary?
Replacing the garage. They're making it bigger. And then on the nuisance list, we had that gentleman that came in and talked about it today. That would be the first one. Then the next house up from him, we also got a complaint about high grass. So I sent that letter too. Because
Closer to Mapleton Street?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
then the property at the corner of 44 Mapleton, that grass has been knocked down, but it hasn't really been mowed. It's
I
just,
drove by that the other day.
yeah.
That's the nice part about heavy rains.
I was gonna say, it looks like, a gust of wind came through and pushed the grass over.
So I sent them the second letter for that on July 7th. So the 7 days of that would be up on the 14th.
That one's still regular now? Not
That one's
certified?
certified.
Certified, okay.
Corner of Battery and 44, they also got another letter. That one was certified because that has not been mowed yet.
Trying to sell it.
Same with Clover Ridge down in the allotment down there. That one has not been mowed. When it does get mowed, it'll probably need brush off.
Is that the one the people weren't here about before?
No.
Okay.
That one, I drove by and it looked like they mowed behind that house. So there's nothing really I can send to him.
Okay.
Because when I drove by, it looked like he mowed.
Is that
back
the
behind
number
it.
5 on here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then that junk vehicle has not met the criteria as a junk vehicle, is that correct?
Not from what I can tell.
Okay.
The other one coverage is at the other end, isn't it? That's what I thought. They've got a problem.
So now we're to
So
Georgetown.
you responded to Georgetown with the Eric email. Did he?
He called me and I actually spoke with him on the phone.
Oh, good. Did he know who cleaned the house out? I'm very
He
curious.
said he did not. He felt that the realtor emptied the house.
Oh, okay. All right.
The realtor told another resident there that the bank cleaned it out.
Okay.
That's true, but they have 3 offers on the property.
Do they?
I got contacted by somebody looking at buying it,
Wow.
see what they have to do to clean up and stuff.
Oh my gosh.
So we want to continue our process though, because who knows how long it will take these
Right.
deals to go through. So they already had their timeline of that first letter, correct? And did you send a registered one then?
No, I will be doing that tomorrow.
Okay, if you send
Okay.
a registered one to the bank and they get, 10 days to clean it? Or 7?
I believe it's 7.
Okay.
Okay.
And make sure in your registered letter, then you say at the end of this time frame, if we've not heard from you and it's not cleaned up, we will be hiring a firm to clean it up and imposing the lien on the property. I think we need to spell it out for them.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I did talk to Mike, who works for the health department. He has contacted the bank and the realtor and another person that he put out a sanitation order that he said the bank has bids to clean it up and they're supposed to decide on that tomorrow, I believe. So the sanitation order is up next Tuesday. He will go out and double check it again once that comes up as well.
So we keep moving, but hopefully they get to it before we do.
Right, I think if we don't keep our timeline, then we're gonna be
Yeah.
sitting here not.
Not happening, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got our regional planning got back to us on the amendments we sent on, and so we will have our hearing for them to discuss that on August 2nd, along with the next commission meeting. So we don't have a commission meeting this month.
So because the commission's meeting on August 2nd, they will send their recommendation, they'll make a motion that night and they'll send it to us. We need to be able to advertise our hearing for both motions, we'll have 2 different ones. And we'll review what the commission recommends at our next meeting, which will be
The 9th.
Yeah, August 9th.
and 23rd. Okay.
August 9th. And so we need to set those hearing times. And then we'll get that advertisement out there, knowing that we need to wait for the commission to send us their recommendation and then regional planning's recommendations too.
And the two one's the short-term rental.
One is on short-term rentals and the other one is on use of private land for public use.
For private and public use, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
So what time would you like to set those hearings for? Do we have any other hearings that night, Brian?
No, not at this time. I'm just looking for advertising purposes. This will have to get to the advertisee this week to be in July 23rd to give it that
The 10 days.
14, well, when you say 10 days, it needs to be in there
Okay,
on the 23rd paper. That'll give it 14 days, but it's hard to do it.
Yeah.
To do 10.
so when do you need the advertisement from? Mary?
Before this Friday.
Okay.
Soon.
So for the timing, what was the order that the commission did then? Was the short-term rental first?
I believe short-term rentals first.
Do you want to do short-term rental at 8 o'clock? And then the public use of land at 8:30?
Sounds good, 8:30. There's half an hour now. Time. Half an hour being.
It should be.
Great.
Those numbers like 01 is the one for the, and 02, is that the number? Just so I'm going to use them numbers for reference.
Get the. 01 is the short-term rental, and 02 is the public use of land.
Anything else?
That's it for me.
Trustees, will you make motions on each one of them for me?
Trustee Griffith makes a motion to have a hearing at 8 o'clock on August 9th for OS1, short-term rentals.
Trustee Varian second.
All those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed?
Trustee Griffith makes a motion for a public hearing on August 9th for public use of land, which is OS number 2 at 8:30 PM.
Trustee Varian second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Is this the same as this 13B under new business?
Yes.
Okay. Old business audit update.
Trustees, I received the preliminary report from Sarah. Let me get Sarah's last name here. Too much paper. Sarah Holmes, she's the audit manager for the state of Ohio, and she gave me a preliminary for me as fiscal officer. I'd like to read just her cover sheet so you know where we're at, because you will all receive this once I do my work. It just says, Brian, good morning. The AUP, that's the audit for Osnaburg Township, has been through the chief review, and I've attached a copy of the confidential draft for your review. Please remember this is confidential draft and should not be shared or discussed in an open meeting. So everything that's on there, I can't discuss it, but there were sightings in there. That those 4 sightings, I've already talked to them about 2 of them. I'm going to make my opinion to them because when I, just to discuss these, they were very minor. It's something that I'm not going to blow them off. I want to do right moving forward, but they were very minor. I have that opportunity to do that. Additionally, please let the township trustees know that if they want what's called a post-audit hearing, that you all can actually request the auditor to come. Now, we get charged for that. I'm not trying to say anything bad, but they come. If you want to question them, they'll come. They charge us for it. You can ask them questions in general. The other thing is that if we waive that, which you trustees normally do because everything's normally okay, I have to report when I give my report back to them that we're waiving that. You all will get copies of this report before it goes public.
Okay.
You will have that opportunity to ask me all those questions of anything that needs to be done or addressed.
Do we need a motion to waive that?
Yes.
Do we get notified of what the 4 issues were before we do the waiving of the? information?
I can discuss them with you if you want to go into executive
I mean,
session.
are we allowed to look at the paper?
Yes. But when I say look at them, you need to discuss them because I don't know that if I'm not saying you wouldn't understand them, but some of the things I've already talked to them about. And I think they're taking into consideration that they're not really a major finding or anything like that. They just want them moving forward. They like me to handle them differently.
Okay.
It's kind of like dotting i's and crossing t's.
Once I tell you guys, and we can talk about this off the record, once I tell you, you're gonna probably say this is pretty petty stuff, but moving forward, so I'm honoring the state auditor's wishes, I will tell you what we need to do and what they have recommended.
And so really, if we waive them coming, we're gonna get the report regardless.
You
If
guys
we
are gonna
waive-
get
if
the
we waive them
report.
coming in, they're just not gonna charge us to come in and.
You're gonna get the
explain it.
report.
I got you.
You also, I found out that when I give my opinion back to them, that doesn't go public because I can question all what they have. Explain my records and what I have here.
Right.
Because the on-field person could have missed something. They're usually pretty thorough, and I think I explained themselves and gave them all the documentation. They just wanted it handled differently. And sometimes that differently, I'm not saying I will not do it that way. It's really petty stuff. But I want to follow what the state auditor wants us to do and honor their wishes. And it's just a few steps we have to do in the future moving forward.
Trustee Piero moves to waive our right to have pay the auditor to come in for questioning.
Trustee Barry in second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Approve request of CETA agreement with City of Canton, amount $14,703.
Yeah, Trustee Varian, I know Trustee Puro and Trustee Griffith have went through this before, but I'd like to explain it. Every year, usually at the end of April, 1st of May, I get documentation from our county auditor to know, according to the CETA agreement, based on our annexing, there's a percentage the City of Canton pays us of our taxes collected on that 1.02 millage or mileage of road mileage in there, along with zoning, any zoning, which I think all of you this year see a lot of building
Oh
going
my
on.
gosh, yeah.
We get a 50-50 split for 20 years when the CETA agreement was started. And we also get any liquor license in that area too, a
Okay.
percentage of that, which is 50%
So
of
we
that.
get 50% of the zoning fee for a new house.
Yes.
Okay.
So whatever the City of Canton collects, they're supposed to give me that. It's actually said in the agreement, the CETA agreement monthly. Usually, I know a few years it was very slow. They usually gave that to us yearly. There wasn't much building going
Wasn't
on.
anything
But
going
you know there is this year, but realize in 2020, I'm not sure what all was there. They need to give me that report.
So this 14,000 is a year?
Well, it changes, it fluctuates. I receive these monies or dollar amounts from our county auditor.
Okay.
Gas fund, for example, was collected 118,501.06. Our percentage of that, after you divide it by the 1.02 miles, is $2,169.65, for example. Motor vehicle license is collected as $44,933.23. Our 1.02 is $822.60. These are monies owed by the City of Canton to us. And then motor vehicle license, this is permissive, was $389. And then the 2 mil road and bridge levy that we get, that dollar amount is set by the Stark County Auditor, and that was $11,318.28.
Okay.
This total comes to $14,703. Just to give, for example, last year that was $15,800 some dollars.
Okay.
And I have all the reports. You're welcome to look.
So
at
do we need
these.
to make a motion to approve this?
Yes, and what
Okay.
you do, once you approve that, then I send the invoice to them.
But
Okay.
that
Usually-
doesn't include the new building that went on. Because you don't know how many houses have been built.
I don't know. What this does is that additional, you're welcome to read this. The additional, I always break this down. Also, we need the share needed for the dollar amount, the township share of the liquor license, and I request the share of the dollar amount of zoning fees. I request those two amounts, they have to give that to me.
Yep, that's not on here yet.
Yeah, it is
I got
not
you.
on there. Usually.
Which will be a number that's bigger this year than it was last year.
Right.
I have 3 or 4 lots left.
We won't
That's it.
receive that till next year in 2022. In 2020, all these numbers are based on 2020.
2020, all right.
Okay?
Trustee Varian moves to approve the CETA funds that have come in from Canton City to the tune of $14,703.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
That's all I got.
You good?
Okay.
Trustee Varian moves to adjourn.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
All those in favor, aye.
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 Good.
Well, it must-
Look at you.
Yeah, let's get all this shit down.
Look, you got going though. We rebooted you. All right. So I get this. They're out at the farm. There's always stuff going on. You never know what you're getting yourself into. I can't make this up. My dad calls me and he says, "Hey." He says, "How do you call 911 on yourself?" And I was like, "What do you mean? Call 911, push send." He's like, "It won't go through." I think his phone, I think he had to put it twice. So I'm like, "What's wrong?" He said, "There's this guy in the car in the driveway."